Hello everyone, in this video we're going to make the lid for the little trinket box. Pick up 64 beads and create a circular join. I need to mention that these beads shouldn't be too tight. You can see mine are slightly wobbling. So if you've got a fire line knot, you can ease it so that the beads are sitting in more of a straight line. This will mean there will be a gap in your thread, but don't worry about it because it will disappear. By the time you've gone all the way around, that gap will disappear. So we're now going to peyote 7 beads. This will be your first side. I'm sorry I'm slightly out of shot at the moment. Very difficult to keep it in shot, watch what you're doing on the video and actually bead at the same time. So now we've got our 7 along one side. We need to create the corner, and the way to do this, having checked your bead count, the way to do this is to miss out one bead. Just simply skip it. So I'm going to miss this one out, and I'm going to go through the next bead. Now if you remember when we did sides and corners in the second video, you will see that this creates the same shape, and so we're going to be using the same corners as we did in the second video. So now I'm just going to peyote 7 again down this side. This is the second side. And this is how it will look. This is the bottom of your trinket top. So I'm just going to peyote down this side, and I'll show you the corner again. If you already understand what I'm trying to do, then do feel free to skip this bit. So I've peyote 7, and again we're just going to skip this bead and go through the next bead. So I'm just going to, I'll just put this bead in, and then what you need to do is do the third side and the third corner, which will, be about there. And I'm going to come back when I get to the last corner so that you can see the last corner and the step up. So here we are. Now I've beaded the last 7, and I'm going to skip that bead just as we did in the other corners. And I want to make sure that it's set towards the outside. And then I'm going to step up through the first bead that we added. So we just need to peyote along this edge. Now you can see we need to add, I'm going to turn this creates your edge, and then we're going to pick up 3 and we're going to pass through the next bead on the next side. So, and then we're going to turn this side, and then we're going to peyote along this edge. You can see that the work actually wants to sit on edge now, and try and keep your thread in line with the beads so that you get your right tension. And again, we're just going to pick up 3 for the next corner. Now you just need to continue on, do the next corner and go along, and I'll come back and show you how we're going to do the last corner and the step up. So here we are, I've done all that. And I'm going to pick up 3. I'm going to pass through this bead here. Just the same as the other corners, it just looks like you should be stepping up, you know that you should be passing through this bead, but this is actually the step up bead. you'll notice that the step up bead is going to leave a gap of 1. But don't worry about it, because when you come round at the end of the row, you can pop that one in. So we're going to carry on and we're going to peyote down this side. Now, just as we did before, in the sides and corners video, we're going to omit that center bead of the 3 that we picked up. We're just going to pass through. So using peyote along the sides, using the same method at the corner. I'll come back when we get to the last corner. So this is the last bead of this side. I'm going to pass through the 2. And I apologise, it's out of shot. Right, now you can see we're going to add in that last bead that was missing at the beginning of the row, and then we're going to step up. You will find that the step up will move around every 2 rows. So you now need to complete another 2 rows, and I'll come back when I've done that. And this is the final row, and I'm just going to pass through the 2 beads, because the previous row would have been a pick up 3, and this is a pass through 2. Now you can see that I've now got 2 beads, and as I said before, the step up moves every 2 rows. So you just fill these in, and don't panic about the step up. When I first started beading, I thought, well, where is it? How do you know how to step up? I think it's quite confusing. It's just wording that we use, but basically you've just got to move to the top row, to the outside row. You can't bead from where you're at, so you're just stepping up literally into the next bead so that you're on the next row. So we'll just check that it fits inside our box, which it does. But I know that because I worked it out. And now we're going to increase just as we did before on the base. So I don't know whether you're using these colours or choosing your own colours. You will find at the end of this video that I kind of whizzed through. It's only designed to show you the pattern, so you'll need to look at the pause button. Use the pause button a lot if you want to follow the pattern for this box. So we're going to start increasing. So we pick up 2, and just as we did before, you do not want to pull these too tight. It should stay where it is once you've put in a few of the peyote beads. I'm going to do this on every corner, and just every side is peyote, obviously. So here we are, and I've stepped up and I've peyoted along to the corner again, just to show you the increase. I am having to chop the video about because if I showed you from start to finish every single row, it would make a very long video. As it is, it's already over an hour, I think, probably an hour 20. So you need to repeat these rows until you have completed 4 increases. Now I'm changing the colour to the orange, and I'm going to use the drop beads. I like the way the drop beads sit in the increase. You can use a number 11, that's fine. You could also use the number 8. The drop beads have a nice shape and they fit perfectly because they're narrow, and this part will stick outside, which allows you to do the decrease on the next row. So we're just going to peyote along the edge again. I will repeat the addition of the next drop bead, so do feel free to whiz on if you totally understand what I've done. Then you don't need to see it repeated. And we're going to pick up another drop bead. So you just need now obviously to repeat the peyote on the sides and the step up, and that's that row completed. So we're just going to peyote along the side. And then we're going to pick up one and we're going to just pass through the drop bead. So we're using the drop bead as almost a peyote bead, I suppose. And then we're going to pick up one and pass through the next bead. Now what's going to happen on the next row is that we're going to join those two together, or decrease. And so you need to do this for all of the sides. Step up and I'll come back when I'm done. Right, so on this row we are going to get to the corner where we're going to do the decrease. Now all we're going to do is miss out the drop bead, and we're going to start curling these corners in now. And so we're just going to pass through the first bead on the next side, and we're going to pull it in as tight as we can, but it doesn't matter if you can see a small gap. You really won't see it on the finished box. So again, it's just peyoting down this side and encouraging the sides to sit upwards. So I'll just show you, I'll just work down this side. You can see I'm using the thread to pull slightly inwards, breaking all the rules because it helps, and then use your thumbnail. And when we get to the corner, I'm going to decrease again. And as I've said before, if you've already got it, just whiz along until you've completed this row. So this is the last bead on this side. And again, I'm going to fold the beads. We're just encouraging the shape. And then we're going to pass through the first bead of the next side. Now I will complete this row and step up, and I'll come back when I'm done. So the next row, we're going to peyote along this side. I've got myself in a bit of a knot. Now we're going to pick up one bead and we're going to pass through the next bead of the next side. So if you're following the pattern, you need on this row to peyote 4, and then we're going to pick up, well, I'm going to do it in red, which is the point of the heart shape. I'm going to pick up 1 of the red beads, and then I'm going to peyote 4 along this side. And again, when I get to the corner, I'm just going to pick up 1 and pass through the first bead on the next side. I need to repeat this pattern for the remaining 3 sides, and I'll be back when I've done that. So that's all of the start of the pattern placed, and I'm at the corner, and I'm going to pick up one bead, and I'm going to come through that corner bead that we placed. Then I'm going to pick up another one, and I'm going to come through the first bead on this side. So there should be one bead either side of that bead that you added at the corner. So in effect, I'm going to be peyoteing 4 beads. Along this side, and then I'm going to pick up one red one, and I'm going to peyote another 4. So the last peyote, which is the 4th one, is the one that goes through the bead that sat at the corner. So I don't know whether you want to think of it as beading one either side of the corner, or I think a simpler way is just peyoting along this side, because that's what you're doing, but you're just using that corner bead. So here we go, I'm picking up one and going through the first bead of the previous row. So again, you need to repeat this pattern on each side and corner, and I'll come back when I'm done. So here we are, and I've stepped up. You can see I'm progressively getting to the corner, and I will cover what you do when you're stepping up at the corner a little bit further down. So this one is a decrease, and you want to make sure that bead is set nice and square to your drop bead. For the pattern, we're just going to peyote 1, and then we're going to pick up one green, which is the start of the little flower, one orange, 3 red beads, one orange, one green, and as I add the last orange bead, I'm going to decrease at the corner again. So it's just repeating this pattern on all of the sides and corners. So that's that row complete, and you can see that we're now at the corner, and the following row after this, the step up will get a bit weird, but it'll be okay, and I'll show you how to do it. So again, we're stitching 1 because we decreased. We're stitching 1 at the corners. I'm going to continue our pattern. So this time it's 2 green, then 4 red, and 2 green, and 1 at the corner. So I've completed that row, and now we need to step up. We're going to step up through the 1 bead that we added at the corner on the last row. That is your step up. But this row needs, I don't know, as we said before, is it peyoting along the side or is it peyoting one either side of the one? And you can see that this bead here is missing. But just as we did on the sides, you will fill this in when you get to the end of the row. So there's no panic. The step up is just moving to the top row. So for this pattern, I picked up a purple one, and then 1 orange, 3 red, 1 orange, purple, and the last bead for this row is the orange, and we're using that bead at the corner again. So complete this row all the way around, and I'll come back when I'm done. So I am now back at that corner, and I'm adding in the bead that was missing. So there is no problem with the step up at the corner. Boy, this is tricky. And then I'm just going to step up through the first bead that we added. So this side is 2 green, four red, 2 green, and we're going to decrease at the corner. And again, you need just square up these beads so you get a nice finish. So that's that row completed. So this row is 1 green, 1 orange, 3 red, 1 orange, 1 green, 1 orange at the corner. And again, just repeat this side and corner all the way around. So here we are, and that's done. So on this side, it's all orange beads, apart from the 4 red beads on the heart. So you need to complete this row and the following row, which is a decrease at each corner, and you can see the pattern here, which is all orange apart from a red, orange, red on the heart. So that's the end of the pattern on these sides. So now we're just going to be working with the orange beads. The previous row was a decrease, so this is a pick up 1 at the corner and peyote along each side. when we get to the end or towards the end of the video, what I've done is I've just shown the pattern on the side and the corner. So this is the next row, and this one is just peyote each side, using that bead at the corner. So this is the last of the orange beads, the last row of the bottom tier, and then we're going to convert to the purple beads, and we're going to create the top pyramid. So you just need to come back when you're done. Here we are, and I've stepped up. You can see your pattern. Straighten out those corner beads so that they're in alignment. So that is your bead count. If you've done it plain, that's how many rows you should have. And we're ending with just a peyote side. I'm going to get rid of the orange beads. Bring in my purple ones. And we're just going to peyote along the side. And when we get to the corners, we're going to increase again, just as we did before. So pick up 2. Set them in the corner, but don't pull them in too tight. Then peyote along this side and complete all the way around and step up. So you need also to complete 2 more rows with an increase at each corner and peyote each side, so you can see an increase count of 3 on the corners. If it's going too quickly and you need time to catch up, then just press the pause button. And I'm sorry about the drop beads, yes, they are annoying, but they do give a really nice finish to the edges. If you've used a number 11 or a number 8, then you just pass through it just as you did with the drop bead on the row before the decrease. Then again, we're just going to peyote down this side. come back when we've done all remaining 3 sides and corners. So just as we did on the bottom tier, on that last bead, we're just going to go through the drop bead and then we're going to peyote to the end. And we're going to encourage these to sit up. So we'll come back when we're done. So this row is peyote along each side. And decrease each corner. So we're just missing out the drop bead. If you can see the camera wobble, it's because I've got a 5-line join and it's jerking everything around. I'm sorry about that. So there we go with the decrease. And again, it's just a question of completing this row. So the next row is peyote each side and stitch 1 each corner. So that's that row finished. This is the peyote each side. We're going, using that single bead at the corner. Now we're going to start the green heart on this row. So that would have been peyote 4, 1 green, and then 4 purple. I find that once you've got that first marker bead in for the heart, that it's quite easy to do quite a number of rows without actually watching this video at all, particularly if you now understand your corners. So like this one is just peyoting each side, so you know that the next corner is going to be a decrease. And again, we're just going to repeat that pattern all the way around. So, like I said, I'm going to abbreviate a lot. So on this side, you're using 2 green beads either side of the first green bead, and you're decreasing each corner. This is the pattern side for the next row, and it is a stitch 1 bead at each corner. And this is the pattern for the next side, and it's a peyote each side. This is your next side, and it's a decrease each corner. And again, I'm just adjusting the corner beads. If you're finding that this is going too quickly, then simply pause the video and that will help you. But the orange bead on this side is the start of the little flower at the top of the pyramid. So having completed all of those rows, we've completed the pattern, and we've continued with the decreasing at the corners. This is the last row where we've got one peyote bead each side and a decrease at the corner, and then I'm going to show you how to add the drop bead. Now, it doesn't matter what size drop bead you have. This row is quite amenable, and it doesn't mind if it's a slightly larger bead. I've just got a small drop bead, or you could use any bead that you like, or just end it any other choice. So I'm exiting the peyote bead on the side. I've gone through the drop bead, and then I'm going to pass through the side peyote bead on the other side, and that means that the point will drop in, and I'm going to come back through the drop, and I'm going to come back through the peyote bead on the other side from the opposite side. Then I'm going to repeat that. You can do this 2 or 3 times to secure it because it is crystal. And you don't want it to come loose. To get it to the point where it's not wobbling so much, then you'll know it's secure. And then we're going to pick up one bead, and we're going to stitch that at each corner. And I like to stitch through all of these top 2 rows again, maybe even 3 times. And then just end your working thread by weaving through your beads. And if it won't go, don't force it, because you don't want to undo all of this hard work. So just go through another bead, just keep weaving. And that's that thread ended. So here we are, our little trinket top is fixed, finished. I'm just adjusting the corner beads, a bit fussy about that. But do be careful when you're doing it, it's easy to snap one. I just find it just gives it that really nice finish. So I really hope you've enjoyed all 4 of the tutorials. I'm just going to use the block to flatten out those edges where they got a little squished when I was working, and now they're nice and flat. It's nice neat corners. And there you are, it's finished. I hope you really enjoyed the tutorial. And I'll be back with something new very soon. Bye for now.